And I tell you what some people are properly excited about. They are excited about the potential of an AEW video game. And I totally understand where you're coming from. We need some competition in that area. We had a few little issues with WWE 2K20, so wouldn't it be nice if a new challenger entered the market? The answer is yes. So given that we are fans on the internet and we just have to shout really loud until everybody listens to our opinions, here are 10 things we should all want from the AEW video game. My name's Simon Miller. Got that the wrong way round. Number 10, use Aubrey Edwards. So that may sound a little bit out of left field, but do you know what referee Aubrey Edwards has in her pocket? That's right, an extensive background in video game design, which probably explains why she is on board with the creation as a project coordinator. So her experience to this could be vital, and speaking on Talk is Jericho, she let everybody know that she has 10 years of experience in this area. She worked on mobile games, and she also looked around and saw what other people were failing and where they were making their mistakes. It means that she can bridge that gap between the developers and the promotion, and do not count out how that important it is. It's all well good to stand up and go, well, we just want to make No Mercy, but go back to that TNA game that came out about 12, 15 years ago, whenever the hell it was. They had good intentions too, and while it was pretty good, ultimately, it didn't really work. Number 9, include a VR mode. Now, while VR hasn't taken off like some people had hoped it would, I flippin' love it, and I think it's flipping awesome. I mean, the big thing with it is that it shouldn't take over what we know video games to be. Developers and designers should just come up with a really smart way to integrate it to enhance a user's experience. I sound like a damn instruction manual. So with that in mind, the AEW game shouldn't just be a total VR experience, but how about doing something like this? If you do have your virtual reality equipment sitting in your house, you can put it on your head, turn yourself into a robot, and actually feel what it's like to be a wrestler making their entrance in a massive arena while a bunch of people go, yeah, we love you, you're the best. It doesn't happen in the real world, so we're going to have to happen in the digital one. And that's all that most people want anyway. They don't want to get slammed in the ring, they want to walk down that aisle, they want to do a loop round the ring, and then they want to go backstage after everybody is done cheering their name. You could even do that with promos, which would make for some great YouTube fodder, by the way, leaving the core gameplay experience exactly where it needs to be, with your ass sat on a sofa with a controller in your hand. We all know this is going to be the way then, now, and forever, so let's stop trying to innovate in that area that doesn't need innovating, but bring in all this other glorious stuff. In short, I just want to come out in front of thousands of fans and finally feel wanted. Number 8, a solid online mode. For one reason or another, the WWE run of games always seems to have some kind of problems when it comes to their online servers. Now, it's by no means alone in that regard, but it always makes you feel a little bit deflated because the idea of playing wrestling on the internet just sounds faboo. So if AEW does want to take some shots right out of the gate, one of the better things they could do is ensure that when you do go online, it's not only fun, but that it's stable. I mean, think of all the sports games out there that are just utterly embracing the esports landscape. You don't think wrestling could be a part of that? Of course it could. We just need the right project to throw out there. EA has proven that a little bit with its UFC titles, and while I would prefer that All Elite Wrestling stay way away from, pay to win content, because that never works, having the ability to challenge your friends online and then punch them in the face, it will work from now until the day we all die. If you go on there and the server just flips out and you can't get into a game, then you're going to be rightfully pissed off and you'll just stop playing. Number 7, Chris Jericho on commentary. Yeah, if he was wrestling in the ring, it would make no sense, but don't give me that nonsense, because I remember in WrestleMania 2000, when you were playing the story mode, even if you had picked the character of The Undertaker, when it was time to screw you out of the title, you still got put in a match against The Undertaker. So you can take logic and you can stick it up the chimney. As of late though, the champion has been so good at the announce booth, why not try and figure him into the game? And I'm not saying that he has to do the commentary from start to finish, but if you paired him up with Jim Ross and said that it was an option, or there's like 10% of it, when these two do get together, maybe a few lapsed WWE fans would go, I recognize those two names, I saw them on the back of the box, I will play the AEW video game, what's this? It's a brand new company? Maybe you'll make some new fans. I mean, that's a long shot, but you never know. We're going to talk about EA once more, but they do sometimes have really good ideas. Like with Madden, they update the commentary throughout the season so it's as real to life as possible. If AEW starts doing that, I will give them a couple of thumbs. Number 6, good DLC. DLC, for me, never really hit like I hoped it would. Like, we have had some cool expansions and a cool few items, but really 9 times out of 10, it feels a little bit like a cash grab. And to be fair, if people are buying it, then you can't get too mad at the business decisions that companies are making, but I always wanted it to expand the experience, and well, it never really did. When it comes to wrestling games too, a huge problem that developers face all the time is how quickly the industry changes, and because they have certain deadlines to meet, when a game does get released, well, it's already out of date. It's why these people freak out when they hear someone's got a new haircut or a brand new tattoo. They're like, flipping wonderful, you just dated our game. So let's try and use downloadable content for that. If you make it your goal to try and make the AEW video game as up to date with episodes of AEW Dynamite, well, I think that sounds quite exciting. You could have new moves, new sets, new costumes. As said, fans will pay for updates as long as they think it's worthwhile, and if you do tap into that, the community will be thriving. And I tell you, I've been playing wrestling games for a long time. The community is the be-all and end-all. Number 5, an expansive roster. Everybody on the AEW roster needs to be in the video game. That stands for reason. And when WWE announces their lineup, they always have everybody, so you've got to make sure you're living up to that bar. So not only do I want to see the likes of Jon Moxley, I also want to see the likes of Chris Statlander, and of course Pentaco. He got to be in there too. Given that All Elite Wrestling does seem to be a little bit more flexible as a company, however, why not go a little bit further too? Now, licensing always does cost a fortune, but just imagine for a second that you could take your favorite AEW guy and pit them against somebody from a different promotion. Now, straight away you're shouting, New Japan, New Japan. And of course that would be the dream, but I don't think it's going to happen for many reasons. But somebody from AAA, somebody from OWE that All Elite Wrestling has already worked with before this point, I think we should do it. It's not a game changer, pun very much intended, but it is extra additions and it makes you stand out from your competition, and in today's marketplace, that can count for everything. Number 4, learn from the mistakes of others. I like the WWE games, I truly really do, but even I can say that over the last few years, they have felt like they've been treading water, and then we got to WWE 2K20, and well, that was the opposite of good, also known as not good. Modes that have been pretty decent before received an update and then somehow were worse, and while the glitches in those things have always been hilarious, these ones just went too far. For example, if I'm in the middle of a wrestling match, I don't just want it to stop working and force me to reset my console. That is called being an asshole. So to sum it up, if AEW does want to release a video game that's considered top tier, you gotta stay away from things like this. And fans, don't forget either, fans will judge you day one, and if you haven't got the experience right, they will pull down their pants and do terrible, terrible things. That's why sometimes patches don't even work. They've already decided, this is not for me, the damn thing isn't even turning on properly, and they've gone off to do something else. And sure, All Elite Wrestling's fan base is far more forgiving than some, but do not test them, because eventually they will turn. Number 3, make customization a priority. The community creations in WWE 2K are truly incredible. Like, you can make pretty much whoever you think of, and some people have even made me. Why are people making me? It truly blows my brain. And admittedly, yeah, I get it. It's really easy to make me because I look like every single bald space marine that's ever featured in the front of a video game cover, but that's not the point. I really appreciate the effort. Once again then, AEW has to be on this level before they even think about releasing it. And even if you can't get to that point, you've got to offer things that the other person doesn't. For example, customizable entrance themes. Every year when WWE 2K comes around, that's all the people on Thread seems to be saying, and yet you never get it. And there's probably some legal loopholes you have to get around if you are going to integrate something like Spotify, but there must be a way. And besides, if I'm going to win the World Championship as Luchasaurus, as Master of Puppets plays, well, this is the only way to do it. So make sure you do it. Number 2, include a damn GM mode. Every single hardcore fan of the WWE games misses the GM mode from around about the SmackDown vs. Raw either. I mean, Universe mode has done an okay job in matching that, but ask any of them, they will always say, yeah, it's fine, but it wasn't as good as that. And they cry, it's horrible. So given that AEW is perfectly happy to let their fan base in on the joke, why not just go whole hog with this and offer out a booker mode where you control the booker and you can come up with storylines, you can come up with who's pushed, and you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want. You can kind of make it like Football Manager as well and incorporate the outside world, meaning that you've also got to keep an eye on TV ratings, and everybody loves that in 2020, and if they're sinking, you better change it, otherwise you're gonna get fired and insulted on Reddit. It would also allow individuals to get so creative, and given that YouTube just gets bigger and bigger, how badass would it be if you could tune in to somebody else's company and watch it like you were observing WWE or AEW? I bet some of them would actually even better those companies, and I would be the happiest cat in the land. And who doesn't want to be a happy cat? Number 1, the career story mode. If AEW is serious about going back to the good old days of wrestling gaming, it's got to get its single-player narrative story mode spot on. I mean, the idea of going from rookie to WrestleMania champion or whatever is fine, but it's played out, it's overdone, and I want something different. You should also be able to make crucial decisions at crucial points in time, much like the best RPGs, and if you can get multiple consequences because of your actions, then even better still. I basically just want Mass Effect or Dragon Age, but I'm being a wrestler. That will spark social media discussions too, as one person says, well, I got this ending, and someone else said, oh, well, that didn't happen to me. And ultimately, it's just gotta feel essential. Too many times the mode can feel like a slog as you do match after match after match after match, and we've got a mode for that. It's called Exhibition, where I can engage with as many matches as I want. This should be such an emotional roller coaster that if I want, I could give it ups and downs based on what is transpiring before my eyes. I need that more than oxygen, even though if I did go down that path, I'd be dead, but I am willing to make such a sacrifice. Know of any other things that the AEW video game needs? Make sure you let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'm not gonna lie, they keep mentioning No Mercy in WrestleMania 2000 and NWO versus WCW Revenge. I need all of this. Anyway, head over to WhatCulture.com, read yourself some articles, follow What Culture on Twitter, What Culture WWE, and watch more videos here on What Culture Wrestling. My name is Siren from What Culture. I will continue to play every single wrestling game that gets put out there because I just need to know. Battlegrounds is next. It's a bit cartoony, arcadey, could be fun, but after that, I want to see AEW. See you soon.